But here is the one thing. Tonight, it's a question. This one has been bothering me for a while. Why? Why is no one in the media, why is no one in the government, why is no one in this country speaking out and saying, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? When gigantic countries like China, Russia, France, all of them are speaking out, including the UN now, and they are publicly attacking the U.S. dollar and support dropping it as the world's currency. That's a big deal. I think the answer to why maybe is because people just don't seem to understand the consequences of what that would mean for America. Fortunately, I've been reading up on this for the last couple of years, and geez, let me try to explain it in plain English. We had World War II, and we were the victors, so we told everybody, hey, you know what we should do? We should have the gold standard, because you guys don't want to keep all that gold. It's all heavy and stuff. We'll just keep all the gold here at Fort Knox. So we put up a bunch of gold, and we promised the rest of the world that we will never, ever, ever violate the gold standard. They could just keep our dollars in their banks. Done, right? Not a problem. Well, it wasn't a problem. We got through the war and everything else. When it became a problem was in 1971 or 1972. We had been fighting Vietnam, and we decided that we also really needed that great society. Well, we wanted everything. And what does America do? Oh, we decide we can have everything without any consequences or ramifications whatsoever. Well, the promise we made the rest of the world in 1945 and 1971 or 72, we broke. And all of a sudden the world said, wait a minute, hold on just a second. What are you doing? We said, yeah, we're going to get off that gold standard thing. I mean, it's just so 1945 for us. We'd like to print more money so we had more money to spend. Well, as you can imagine, the rest of the world was a little upset with us. But that's when we made them a second promise. Hey, guys, wait, before you dump our dollar, I tell you what, we'll just borrow a lot of money from you guys, and then we'll buy your stuff. What do you say? Well, the rest of the world, just as greedy as we were, went, okay, you'll buy our stuff? Sure. Well, we also had to promise them that we would never, ever trash our dollar. We would never spend like we were maniacs. We'd never do it. Well, now we are. You notice, when I was 45 years old, when I was growing up, this country was the world's biggest lender. But because we left the gold standard in the 1970s, we're now the world's biggest borrowers. And just like when it happens to you, if you are, really bad with a credit card, pretty soon people stop lending you money. If we can't afford something, we have borrowed the money from people to be able to buy it anyway, because we want it really bad. I mean, don't we deserve it? We work so hard. Well, now people don't want to lend to us anymore. So what do? We just go into our basement and print up some more money. Now, let me remind you, if you did that, it'd kind of be a problem. If the bank said, you know what, no loan for you, they'd throw you in jail for counterfeiting if you went down in the basement and you just spun off some more money and then went and bought that car. Why can't you do that? Because there's nothing backing your money up. Well, I got news for you. The rest of the world is finally catching on. Our country is going to pay a penalty as well because there's nothing backing our money up. After monetizing $2 trillion of debt in the last 2 weeks alone, our lenders are saying, I think maybe enough here is enough. They want out. China was calling for it. Not just China, but the Central Bank of China was calling for an end to the dollar. Well, as Rupert Murdoch, the CEO of our parent company, recently said in a memo, and I quote, "We are in the midst of a phase of history in which nations will be redefined and their futures fundamentally altered." You can call me a suck-up because he's the big boss, man, but you know what? He's right. I couldn't agree with him more. Our future is being altered right now. It's happening right in front of our eyes. This is the period that people will write history about, and yet nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to even notice the big events. Again, I ask you the same question I started with.
The National Inflation Association is projecting by the year 2015, the United States will experience an outbreak of hyperinflation that will cause the U.S. dollar to lose nearly all of its purchasing power. Rather than address the root cause of the upcoming hyperinflationary crisis, NIA believes the U.S. government is likely to implement price controls by ordering stores to sell food, water, and other necessities at government-mandated prices. With many trillions of newly printed dollars chasing too few goods being sold at artificially low prices, Americans are going to be faced with the very realistic possibility of empty store shelves. Very few Americans realize just how quickly store shelves become empty during a panic. During the upcoming currency crisis, with millions of Americans rushing to dump their dollars before they become worthless, all shelves at grocery and convenience stores nationwide will likely become empty within a few short days. 2 months ago, the U.S. had a wake-up call of what hyperinflation in this country will look like. The mainstream media largely ignored this story, but NIA believes it is one of the most important stories of 2010 so far because it provides a window into what will occur nationwide during hyperinflation. On May 1st, 2010, a water pipe ruptured in Weston, Massachusetts, 15 miles west of Boston, and 8 million gallons of water flooded into the Charles River.
I have declared a state of emergency and am issuing the following directions. First, all residents in the impacted communities should boil their drinking water before consuming it. Failure to boil drinking water rapidly for at least a minute could cause illness, in some cases serious illness.
Attention, the FWRA has announced a boil water alert for this area.
Millions of residents immediately rushed to buy bottled water at local stores, and within hours, all retail stores in Boston were out of bottled water.
Hour and a half after we opened, we were basically back to square one with no water.
They're like every place else.
And the water shelves aren't the only empty ones.
Obviously with no water, no dishwasher, the trickle-down effect is a significant effect on the paper plates and the paperware.
Even more shocking than how quickly retail stores ran out of water was how quickly Americans turned into animals fighting over water.
Don't bother going to the supermarket. It's crazy. It's like a big brawl. Don't go.
And they're fighting over it. Literally fighting over water.
I just had to fight my way through the aisles because it's crazy in there.
Everybody just started grabbing cases and cases. There's no more water in there.
Mother of God.
Most Americans aren't prepared for the currency crisis that is ahead and will likely wait until the very last minute to prepare. Unfortunately, by the time hyperinflation becomes apparent to all, it will be too late for Americans to purchase the goods that they will need to live and survive. Residents in the greater Boston area were able to survive the water main break only with the help of the National Guard.
This line is about 2 miles long and stretches back to the Lynn border. Many of the people here have been in line since before 7 o'clock this morning, waiting to get their case of water.
They're getting a case of water, even though it did say 2 cases on the press release. Unfortunately, we didn't receive the other truck in time.
Within 2 hours, volunteers had distributed about 840 cases. And then, with dozens of cars waiting, came this announcement.
We are out of water. We have no more water at this time.
The Boston water emergency quickly ended days later after workers stopped the spill and began repairs on the pipe. Americans won't be so lucky during hyperinflation. Americans will be forced to transact using silver and gold in the black market, and it will likely take years for the U.S. economy to recover from the damage caused by government price controls. It is important for Americans to immediately purchase and store enough bottled water and non-perishable foods to last for at least 6 months during hyperinflation. Americans should also act now to plant their own garden so that the empty store shelves don't leave their families hungry. Seeds will likely become a very valuable commodity during hyperinflation. It will be just as important to have seeds as it will be to have silver and gold. Americans cannot rely on the government to save them during hyperinflation. There are already 40.2 million Americans on food stamps. When hyperinflation arrives, the government will effectively go bust. Food stamps won't buy anything, and there will be no National Guard supplying us with cases of bottled water. Remember, most of what you see in your local supermarket comes from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. If truckers demand wage increases and their employers can't afford them due to the rapidly rising fuel costs, Widespread strikes in the logistics industry will prevent inventories from being replenished. The slightest disruption to our supply chain could cause a complete societal collapse. If you would like to prepare for and survive hyperinflation in the U.S., sign up immediately for the free NIA newsletter at inflation.us.
Welcome to the currency of the future. Are you tired of watching others win? Ever been in the right place at the right time? Most people want to win financially, but just don't know how. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how to win by introducing a concept that everyone needs. The bursting of the real estate market, with a stunning array of bank failures, lost jobs, dependency on oil, political chaos, and natural disasters around the world, have created a crisis that not one of us can do anything about to protect our families. Efoods Global is introducing a new currency that will change the way you think. Are you ready? Do you have what it takes to not only survive hard times, but also thrive in them? In times like these, the most valuable currency we have is food and food reserves. It is more precious than gold, oil, and cash. Food is our greatest dependency, because when you're hungry, nothing else matters. You know it, and I know it. Efoods Global is offering a unique plan to flourish in these times. You can't control earthquakes, floods, or the real estate meltdown, but if you have food, you have personal solutions to how these things affect you. More and more people desperately need food reserves. This massive increase in demand means enormous financial opportunity for those who recognize it and share it with others. Efoods Global is the gold standard of food reserves. Once you serve and enjoy one of our delicious, easy-to-fix meals and then save some for the future, you'll have caught our vision. Serve it, save it, share it. It couldn't be simpler. Having enough of the right kind of reserves is a crucial part of winning in any of life's challenges. Our economy thrives when reserves are high: oil, gold, food, and savings. Your lifestyle thrives when your reserves are high. Our premium food line is the financial plan for you, your family, friends, and neighbors to create peace of mind and independence. Many will be able to earn their food that have no other means to feed themselves. Others will be able to create part-time, full-time, and big-time income with Efoods Global. This is the right time, and you are in the right place. Click the Win button now and reserve your founding position along with a person who showed you this video, and stake your claim on your own financial future. We are already attracting thousands, many of whom are coming from our current customer base. Would you like them to be a part of your team? Efoods Global is now accepting member applications for this once-in-a-lifetime chance to change your life forever. We have a successful business model, high-powered leadership, and something that everyone must have. Register right here, right now, and order your 6 free meals so you can truly discover what the currency of the future and your freedom taste like. Efoods Global, saving families one meal at a time.